The host of the Call Her Daddy podcast, Alex Cooper, has slammed the Harris campaign. In October, Alex Cooper interviewed the Vice President in an episode that went for around 40 minutes, which was mostly focused on abortion. The Harris campaign has been facing questions about its spending after it was revealed they blew more than $1 billion in 3 months and forked out 6 figures on building a set just to record that Call Her Daddy episode, according to the Washington Examiner. Alex Cooper has weighed in on those reports, and her response is savage, claiming that the set they built was not that nice.
My studio that is gorgeous in Los Angeles doesn't even cost 6 figures. So I don't know how cardboard walls could cost 6 figures, but
do you think they did that? I mean, you saw it.
Absolutely not. With love to them. Oh my God, it was gorgeous, but it wasn't that nice. It wasn't like gorgeous marble.
Looking at the YouTube figures, Kamala Harris's appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast failed to break 1 million, whereas Donald Trump's appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast reached more than 50 million. Joe Rogan says that he had been in negotiations with Harris's team for her to appear on his podcast, but the plans were scrapped when she refused to go to his studio in Austin. Newsroom editor at Unheard, James Billow, joined Power Hour for his take on Donald Trump's announcements ahead of his inauguration in January. And he's announced more appointees for his upcoming second administration, including former national security official Kash Patel to be the head of the FBI. Now, he's been critical of the FBI and the so-called deep state. Here he is earlier in the year.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops.
How likely is it that he'll be confirmed?
The likelihood of him being confirmed is it's 50-50. And to tell you the truth, it really depends on how much Trump prizes him over other nominations. His defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, is also under the microscope for various past allegations. And it really depends on how much capital Trump wants to spend on each one of these characters. He might have to barter in exchange for RFK or Tulsi Gabbard. So I'm not really sure where Patel features on this pecking order. But it would be a really interesting appointment. I mean, Patel is someone who likes to break things. It's not always things that people like. It's not always things people don't like. But the effect he will have is definitely state secrecy will be on the down low. There will be a massive pullback on surveillance powers, all of which is good for civil liberties and a real boost there. He's definitely no fan of journalists, which again might sound a little bit menacing to you or I, but he says he does want to come after those who are complicit, in his words, in the 2020 overturning of what he sees was an illegitimate election. But he's certainly a very colorful character. He's written children's books in the past. He's been a real GOP operative in the past few years, sorry. And it would be very interesting to see what happens to the FBI should he be appointed. It will be interesting to see. And he's also suggested that with Donald Trump in power, the Jeffrey Epstein client list and Diddy party attendee list would be revealed, which should surely be making some elites who are allegedly involved pretty nervous. Yeah, and I don't want to name names because I don't have access to those lists, but I really hope we do get access. And I have to take Patel at his word here. He really does emphasize the importance of this rollback of the surveillance state and putting state transparency first and foremost. And you have to hope that this will fold into that, because I think the American public do deserve to know, and there is certainly a public interest case here. During the election campaign, we saw some outrageous claims and behaviour from the left, those on the far left, some women just freaking out about the idea of having Donald Trump back in the White House. And they haven't really stopped trying to make a statement about it. Some were encouraging people on the internet to just boycott Thanksgiving altogether, not spend time with their families. And now some women are getting sterilised after Donald Trump's election victory. Just take a look at this.
Jen, how can I help you?
Hi, I'd like to schedule an appointment with Dr.
And are you the subscriber for this coverage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what's this appointment for?
A consultation for sterilization.
Alrighty, I have you scheduled.
If you own a uterus and you live in America, it is the time to start seriously seeking sterilization. America is no longer a safe place to have a child. It is no longer a safe place to be pregnant or become a mother. It is no longer a place that we have reproductive freedoms.
Newsweek spoke to a handful of women who have either undergone sterilisation procedures or they plan to now that Donald Trump has won the election. James, what is going on?
Well, I shouldn't smile because, I mean, the fact that people are going through these kind of procedures does raise alarm bells, and it does enter into this kind of far left war on joy, which again is about Thanksgiving, as you mentioned, and against things like sex. And the truth is that I don't know how representative this is of all liberal women, but I think people that do actually go through this, maybe it's no bad thing that they don't reproduce. But the question you have to ask is, what kind of media diet are these people on that they are led to this decision to think it's a good one? It also dovetails with another trend that's going on among liberal women at the moment, and that's the sex strike. Women are now refusing to have sex, liberal women are now refusing to have sex because of what Trump is allegedly going to do to reproductive rights in America. But this has taken inspiration from South Korea's 4B movement, where there's sort of a no four behaviors, sex, dating, marriage, and children. And South Korea, hardly a shining example of democracy at the moment. So take what you will from that. But the overriding point here is that Trump is actually, by Republican standards, a moderate on this issue. He's not looking for a federal ban on abortions. He has made it explicitly clear that he wants to leave it to the states. And all this hand-wringing and pearl clutching is quite worrying. I think everyone just needs to take a breather about this.